revealed UnitedHealth secretly paid nursing homes to reduce hospital transfers. Oh my God. UnitedHealth Group, the nation's largest healthcare conglomerate, has secretly paid nursing homes thousands in bonuses to help slash hospital transfers for ailing residents. Part of a series of cost-cutting tactics that has saved the company millions, but at times risked residents' health, a Guardian investigation has found. This should be a multi-billion-dollar lawsuit, right? Like a would it be a class action? This should be. I mean, you're literally talking about scamming and taking advantage of the elderly. This should be like probably minimum 10 billion, I'd say. Like these elderly people should be set for life. God forbid if somebody died from this. This is insane. Primarily from a punishment standpoint. Every single corporation should be like wearing a diaper. They're so scared of this ever happening to them. They're so terrified at the idea that something like this could happen. It should cause unconsensual bowel movements. Those secret bonuses have been paid out as part of the United Healthcare program that stations the company's own medical teams in nursing homes and pushes them to cut care expense for residents covered by the insurance giant. In several cases identified by The Guardian, nursing home residents who needed immediate hospital care under the program failed to receive it. After interventions from United Health staffers, So United Health staffed these facilities and they would intervene and intercept elderly individuals who were like slated to go into hospital care in order to cut expenses. This is a tight ship they're running here. This isn't just like paying them off and like that's being the end of it, right? Like they have staffers that are actively intervening in this. This is like a whole operation. It's not just like executives going like nudge, nudge, we'll give you a couple bucks to keep them out of the system. There's a whole operation here. This is nightmare material. At least one lived with permanent brain damage following his delayed transfer. Easily $100 million, right? Easily $100 million. According to a confidential nursing home incident log recording and video evidence. I mean, this is malicious. This should count as like, honestly, this should account as some kind of attempted, not like murder, actually maybe attempted murder. So it is a deliberate withholding of care when you know that when you have significant reason to believe that their medical condition could cause severe or permanent damage. It is a deliberate withholding of care for the purposes of greed, gaining money. How is this any different? How is this any different than like, let's say, like some fucking old person who's near me? They're like having a heart attack, but they have like really expensive jewels on, and I'm just like, hey, this is literally worse because it's these people's, their job to look after them. But it's like worse than this. It's like worse than me, like set to look after this old person who has really expensive jewelry on. And they're like dying in front of me. They're having a stroke. And I just go, I'm not going to do anything in the hopes that they fucking die and I can take all their shit. Their pearls. Hey, mine now. You're dead. Nobody's going to miss it. Yoink. How is this any different? I'm tasked with looking after these people. I feel like this should be medical negligence to the point of like intentional damage, right? This is reckless regard for people that you are set to look after. Money means nothing with brain damage. Well, the idea would be that it would go towards their family, right? And primarily, the idea would be that it would hopefully de-incentivize this corporation from ever doing anything like this again. Like this corporation should face staggering losses as a result of this, should be crippled as a result of doing this. According to a confidential nursing home incident log, recording and photo evidence, no one is truly investigating when a patient suffers harm. Absolutely no one, said one current UnitedHealth nurse practitioner who recently filed a congressional complaint about the nursing home program. These incidents are hidden, downplayed, and minimized. The sense is, well, they're medically frail. No one lives forever. The Guardian's investigation is based on thousands of confidential corporate and patient records obtained through sources, public records, requests, and court files. Interviews with more than 20 current and former UnitedHealth nursing home employees and 2 whistleblower declarations submitted to Congress this month through nonprofit legal group Whistleblower Aid. Well, the CEO isn't around. Well, they'll always be replaced. Yeah, this is the Luigi Mangi. Well, actually, no, I think this is technically a different one because there's two different things. There's UnitedHealth and then there's UnitedHealth Group, I believe. If I'm not mistaken. Yes, UnitedHealth Group and United Healthcare. Luigi Mangione Wiki. No, it was United Healthcare was the one that it was. So it looks like it was this, just referencing the Guardian report. Okay, we'll keep reading. The documented sources provided a never-before-seen window into the company's successful effort to insert itself into the day-to-day operations of nearly 2,000 nursing homes in small towns and urban commercial strips across the nation, an approach which has helped UnitedHealth secure a vast stream of federal dollars from Medicare Advantage plans that cover more than 55,000 long-term nursing home residents. UnitedHealth said the suggestion that its employees have prevented hospital transfers is verifiably false. It said it has its bonus payments to nursing homes help prevent unnecessary hospitalizations that are costly and dangerous to the patients, and that its partnerships with the nursing homes improve health outcomes. I don't believe that for a second. Under Medicare Advantage, insurers collect lump sums from the federal government to cover senior care, but the less insurers spend on care, the more they have for potential profit, an opportunity that UnitedHealth higher-ups have systematically sought to exploit when it comes to long-term nursing home residents. So essentially, they just is the idea. So the idea is then that you get a flat sum of cash for having people who are on Medicare, and so obviously, as an insurer, paying for a hospital visit is not going to do too well for you on that flat sum. You want to reduce the cost for insuring that hospital visit, so you just don't send them to the hospital. You don't kick them over. Makes sense to me. UnitedHealth's long-term nursing home plan enrolls nearly as many as all other Medicare Advantage plans combined. Patients under UnitedHealth plans, patients enrolled in other company plans. Whoa. It used to be there's way more in United Health than any other, and then now it's kind of crossed over. The crazy trend. To reduce resident hospital visits, UnitedHealth has offered nursing homes an array of financial sweeteners that sounded more like they came from a stockbroker than a medical professional. For the past 7 years, the company has shelled out premium dividend and shared savings payments that boosted nursing homes' bottom lines. Through its quality and shared risk program, UnitedHealth offered even bigger cut to nursing homes that drove down medical spending, but threatened to claw back money from those that didn't, according to former employees and internal corporate documents. One term that UnitedHealth executives obsessed over was admits per thousand, APK for short. It was a measure of the rate that nursing homes sent their residents to the hospital. Under the premium dividend program, a low APK qualified a nursing home for various bonus payments. The insurer offered a high APK meant that the nursing home received nothing. Should this be legal? Should this be allowed? Because what this would enable is the perverse incentive, right? It would incentivize nursing homes to overlook otherwise hospitable, otherwise very necessary care that might warrant a hospital visit. It incentivizes them to look the other way and say, well, maybe you don't need to go to the hospital, right? It just applies a perverse incentive, no? Because, hey, if we don't send them to the hospital, our APK looks better and our APK gets us more money. They literally get paid more money the less that they do that. But obviously, a natural argument against this would be this enables or incentivizes nursing homes to provide better quality of care to their residents to lower the rate that they might be potentially going to the hospital, right? Absolutely not. It's like back in the day when pharmaceutical companies would give kickbacks. Medical companies should not be rewarding for anything. I'm trying to figure out, there should be a way to reward medical companies for better taking care of their patients, right? That should be a thing. It shouldn't be that they're well, maybe it wouldn't be a financial like slider. Maybe it would just be a revocation of their contracts. I think maybe it would have to be a revocation of their contracts. I can't really think of a way to incentivize. I'm sure there is a way, but I can't think of one off the top of my head to incentivize nursing homes to be able to provide better quality of care to their patients without incentivizing them or creating a perverse incentive to sending them to the hospital, right? Maybe you would have some kind of independent inspection for the quality of care, like some kind of review process or health inspection or something. I don't know what it would be. I'm sure there's a way to do it, but definitely at the very least, independent audit or review from like government entity, and then being like, hey, I don't think the quality of care you're giving to these people is adequate. APK drove everything, said one former national UnitedHealth executive who worked on the initiative with nursing homes in more than 24 states and spoke about the confidential contracts on the condition of anonymity. You gain profitability by denying care. And when the profitability suffers for the shareholder, that's when people get crazy and do things that are not appropriate. The revelations come at a time of crisis for UnitedHealth, which became the subject of public outrage after December's fatal shooting of Brian Thompson, a top executive. Secret bonuses. I'm just skipping over this. We already know this. The secret bonuses were just one of many maneuvers UnitedHealth devised to track and cut expenses in its nursing home initiative. Internal emails show, for example, that UnitedHealth supervisors gave their teams budgets showing how many hospital admissions they had left to use up on nursing home patients. You serious? They had like a tally. You only got 5 more before your APK really starts sliding. The company also monitored nursing homes that had smaller numbers of patients with do not resuscitate or DNR and do not intubate orders in their files. Without such orders, patients are in line for certain life-saving treatments that might lead to costly hospital stays. I kind of expect that, honestly. The 2 current and 3 former UnitedHealth nurse practitioners told The Guardian that UnitedHealth managers pressured nurse practitioners to persuade Medicare Advantage members to change their code status to DNR, even when patients had clearly expressed a desire that all available treatments be used to... Jesus! They literally tried to persuade people to kill themselves. Is that not literally what that is? Persuading people that, hey, you should not try to live if you're in a what is the condition, like a non-conscious state or a state of needing to be resuscitated. Yeah, don't help me if I'm dying. Yeah, that type shit. I don't know what that state would technically be called, like a medically critical state. If they're in a medically critical state, they're convincing them to, dude, that is like actually evil. That is like an actually evil thing to do. Like genuinely trying to not even just that, telling your employees that you need to persuade elderly people to not accept potential life-saving treatment because you want to save money. That is crazy. No, I don't think Luigi is based for anything like this. Even with this being as insane as it is, I don't believe that's the solution. I don't know what that is. They're pretending to make it look like it's in the best interest of the member, another UnitedHealth nurse practitioner said, but it's really not. In response to questions, UnitedHealth said its nursing home initiative improves care for older residents by providing on-site nurse practitioners tailored care plans for chronic conditions and enhanced communication between staff, families, and providers. Dude, this story, unironically, should be one of the biggest stories in the country right now. This should be right up there with Trump corruption. This needs a full-scale, massive DOJ investigation. They need to shut this shit down if this is really happening. I mean, they're effectively just killing elderly people. That's what they're doing. They are preventing care when they are legally and morally obligated to provide it. They're not only withholding care, they are attempting to deceive their members in an attempt to reduce costs. They're attempting to like gaslight elderly people here. The company denied that it had prevented hospital transfers or inappropriately pushed patients to change their code status to DNR. What are the chances that all of these random people are lying? And what are the chances that the people who stand to gain the most money out of denying the claims are the ones who are only ones denying it? Like, what is this? Luigi actually didn't stop any of the criminal actions from the healthcare? Yeah, I would argue this story kind of proves that Luigi didn't really do anything, right? The program's cost-cutting schemes were only possible because of the sprawling nature of the UnitedHealth, a $300 billion plus conglomerate, which has grown into one of the world's biggest companies thanks to its relentless efforts to embed itself into nearly every corner of the healthcare industry. UnitedHealthcare's insurance arms millions more Medicare Advantage seniors than any of its rivals. And another subsidiary, Optum, employs or affiliates with tens of thousands of doctors and nurse practitioners. When nursing homes under the bonus program allowed medical teams from one UnitedHealth subsidiary to work in the facilities, they allowed the corporate giant to influence critical healthcare decisions for its residents, which had direct impact on the insurance side of its business. The Guardian's reporting also found that the program offered nursing homes even larger sums for every senior enrolled in its insurers offering for long-term nursing home residents, which are called institutional special needs plans. In some cases, these payments incentivize nursing homes to leak confidential resident records to UnitedHealth sales teams so they can directly solicit elderly residents and their families, according to a whistleblower lawsuit currently being fought in the federal court in Georgia, as well as internal nursing home records and interviews with more than a dozen current and former nursing home employees and UnitedHealth salespeople. One former UnitedHealth employee in Georgia admitted to The Guardian that she got nursing home staff to leak her confidential resident records, then backdated permission to contact forms to circumnavigate federal rules meant to protect the backdated permission to contact forms to circumnavigate federal laws meant to protect seniors from aggressive sales pitches. The employee was fired after failing to meet her sales quota, according to a former colleague. Jesus. After one nursing home near Savannah, Georgia, disclosed... Hold on. Ugh. Disclosed confidential patient records to UnitedHealth. Families complained that their loved ones had been shifted on the company's Medicare Advantage plan, even though they lack the cognitive ability to make such decisions. According to a former UnitedHealth executive, federal court filings in Georgia and leaked patient files reviewed by The Guardian All told, the various payments that came with increasing UnitedHealth enrollments and minimizing medical expenses could add up to hundreds of thousands of dollars annually for a typical mid-sized nursing home. Per nursing home, hundreds of thousands of dollars annually? Well, that's a lot, sources said. But the nursing home residents who had signed up for UnitedHealth Medicare Advantage program and whose federal dollars were financing the program did not know about the confidential incentive payments and anti-hospitalization tactics affecting their care. That's by design, I imagine. UnitedHealth declined to answer questions about how much it has paid out to nursing homes through the secret contract clauses. The company says its payments incentivize high-quality outcomes for residents, reward efforts that lead to improved care. Maxwell Ahrelevant, a former UnitedHealth nurse practitioner, filed a congressional declaration this month with help of whistleblower aid, asking the federal government to hold a healthcare giant accountable. In an interview with The Guardian, his first ever public comment on the nursing home initiative, Ahrelevant urged lawmakers to make sure that UnitedHealth was not skimping out on care and that patients were not signing up for a service and not receiving the service when the time comes. Ahrelevant previously filed a lawsuit in federal court in Washington state accusing UnitedHealth of withholding necessary services to nursing home residents, making their request for Medicare payments violations of Federal False Claims Act in 2023. The nurse practitioner dropped the suit after the Department of Justice declined to intervene. His congressional declaration provides new details of his experience. In a statement, I would want to see what their stated purpose for declining it is, if they gave one. Maybe they just didn't respond. I'm not sure if they choose not to respond. In a statement, UnitedHealth said Ahrelevant lacks both the necessary data and expertise to assess the effectiveness of its programs. The U.S. Department of Justice investigated these allegations, interviewed witnesses, and obtained thousands of documents that demonstrated the significant factual inaccuracies in the allegations, the company said. After reviewing all the evidence during its multi-year investigation, the Department of Justice declined to pursue the matter. Is that true? They did all those things? I actually want to know. Dubious diagnosis, delayed hospitalizations. UnitedHealth pitches its nursing home initiatives as a positive for long-term residents. It provides them access to UnitedHealth nurse practitioners via in-person visits, as well as to remote medical professionals who provide guidance to facility nurses at night and on weekends. So to be clear, obviously, if you're pressuring your staff to do something as, immoral and egregious as to try and gaslight elderly people into, signing up for Do Not Resuscitate, effectively persuading them to give up on life when it comes time for your boss to have to make good on their promises and cash those checks, or I should say, issue those checks. I think I would blame any of these nurses for. I think you have a moral obligation as a person to not do this. Outside of extreme cases, like maybe if you're a single mom of like 3 children, you're about like $50,000 to $80,000 in debt, you're about to be foreclosed on, you have a car that's literally like broken down and as in constant need of repair, then I would say like maybe, yeah, you could get away with this morally. But if you really have any funds to your name, I think you have a moral obligation to not do this. You have a actual human obligation to not do this. This is like near the level of like, we're just following orders. Not necessarily like Nazi Germany levels, but like, some missions in Afghanistan that were definitely not above the cuff, stuff like that, where it's like, okay, yeah, you're if you have any other option, this is like you go into debt instead of trying to convince elderly people to give up on life, to end their own life, to do this, right? This is egregious. How is it legal to financially incentivize not receiving emergency care? I'm not sure that the extent with which that this article is referring to their practices is legal, but it seems like it is legal to incentivize them It is illegal to incentivize them to provide better care and use the barometer of hospitalizations, i.e., you really having to, pay them out as the metric for that improved care. We're just giving nursing homes money based on how they perform when it comes to delivering care to the residents. And our barometer for that care delivery is how frequently the people who are insured under us go to the hospital. Because surely if they were providing adequate care, nobody would go to the hospital, right? That's like, I think, the thought process, or excuse me, the legal argument. The thought process is literally to scam elderly people. Let's make no mistake. I think the legalese, the argument they want to make to the public is that. In several cases identified by The Guardian, this enhanced care coordination, as the company puts it, is supposed to help reduce unnecessary hospitalizations, which are costly for UnitedHealth and could expose patients to additional complications. In several cases identified by The Guardian, the company's insertion of itself into nursing homes emergency protocols help delay or avert transfers for patients who could have benefited from immediate hospital care. In one incident from 2019, a remote UnitedHealth medical provider working for the program received a report shortly after midnight about a nursing home resident in Renton, Washington, who was slurring her words and unable to move her arm. I was going to say stroke stuff, right? In stroke cases, every minute counts. Yeah. When the blood flow to the brain is blocked or interrupted, brain cells die quickly. The sooner the patient gets to the hospital, the better chances the doctors have to prevent long-term neurological damage. In this case, the nurse at our nursing home reported to UnitedHealth and that it looked like a stroke, according to an incident log. But instead of greenlighting an immediate hospitalization for a possible stroke, UnitedHealth employees suggested that the resident might be suffering from a less serious condition called transient ischemic attack, TIA, a temporary loss of brain function caused by a blood flow blockage. That still sounds kind of spooky. It still kind of sounds like something I would go to the hospital for. If my doctor was like, hey, doc, I need to go to the hospital. I think I'm having a stroke. No, don't worry about it. You're just having a temporary loss of brain function caused by a blood flow blockage. You don't need to go to the hospital. I'll be like, bro, I'm going to the fucking hospital. What the fuck did you do, bro? That sounds like almost just as bad, man. The remote employee that advised the nurse to run a blood test and update the company again in 4 hours. Confidential UnitedHealth records show the patient's independent primary care doctor told The Guardian she was never informed of this failure to transfer the patient. Wow, that's insane. I would have wanted them to contact me right away so that I would have made a decision, she said, speaking on the condition of anonymity to discuss sensitive patient matters. The time frame matters. So they didn't contact the primary care physician about the decision not to transfer? Ushkimuk? Take a blood test and put Granny back in her room, check in 4 hours. Yeah. The independent doctor also said she was disturbed by the remote UnitedHealth employee's working diagnosis, which called for ruling out a TIA rather than a stroke. The remote employee was an early career nurse practitioner, not a physician. Their diagnosis says TIA, but nobody can say that so early, the patient's doctor said. In another incident that year, a nursing home nurse in Puyallup, Washington. Damn, a lot of stuff is happening in Washington, man. Should I even go back? Delayed hospitalizing a resident also exhibiting potential stroke symptoms because of UnitedHealth protocols that pushed facility staff to wait for guidance from the company. According to confidential nursing home records obtained by The Guardian, the nurse phoned a remote UnitedHealth provider who was unsure about what to do and failed to call for an immediate transfer. Tired of waiting for a call back, the nurse finally bypassed the remote provider and called an independent doctor who ordered the patient to be transferred. But the delay meant that about an hour passed before the resident was actually taken to the hospital, which was only a few minutes away from the facility. After the belated hospitalization, the patient suffered permanent verbal slurring and facial droop on the right side of his face. Audio recordings and photos obtained by The Guardian show. Citing confidential rules, UnitedHealth declined to comment on the specific patient case, but the company noted that it does not prevent nursing homes themselves from contacting residents, independent doctors, and that hospitalization decisions can depend on many factors, including a patient's goals of care. Well, we already know that they try and gaslight patients' goals for care, including saying, hey, you know what? If you were to get in a medically critical state, you don't really want to live that bad, right? Like, really think about it. Do you really want to live if you were to, like, you know, go into like a coma or something like that? Like, you really don't like living that much. Symptoms and the input of their care. UnitedHealth's pressure on nursing home staff. UnitedHealth denied that its employees prevented hospital transfers and said that it was the responsibility of the treating physician and the facility to decide on the patient's best course of action. Bro, what? The primary care physicians are not being contacted about this, bro. Like, what do you mean? But in practice, the company's tactics put pressure on facility nurses to turn over patients' care decisions to UnitedHealth staffers, according to internal documents and interviews with current and former UnitedHealth medical providers. There was never a caveat given, like it's up to you all, said one former UnitedHealth doctor involved in the program. Nurses at long-term care facilities were calling the nurse practitioner on-call provider who was responsible. The implication was that they're calling for advice that was meant to be followed. A lot of the times the nurses want to send people out, and we have to go in and try and stop it, said another current UnitedHealth nurse practitioner, who also spoke to The Guardian anonymously, citing fears of retaliation. And if we don't, it's on us. They take us out on the carpet. I mean, that means that they're, get clapped down on. In one patient case identified by The Guardian, nursing home staff sent a resident to the hospital because she was found unresponsive, drooling, and with a slant on the side, possible stroke symptoms. She was admitted to the intensive care unit for a brain bleed, according to UnitedHealth email reviewed by The Guardian. But after the incident, instead of praising the facility team for a prompt hospitalization, a UnitedHealth manager alerted her subordinates that the facility team had bypassed the company's protocol, failing to contact UnitedHealth's remote on-call team first to receive guidance. What? Wait, so they found this person unresponsive, drooling, and with a slant to the side. And they were scolded about sending that person immediately to the hospital. They were scolded. I mean, this is like, come on, bro. Come on, bro. Like, come on. Like, come on, bro. Like, come on. The manager met the nursing home directors of nursing services and scheduled training to re-educate. I could not express how mad I would be if this is if this was my grandma or my mother, because my mother currently has dementia and she is in a facility right now. If my mother had like some kind of medical emergency and this was like the response, I cannot express how angry I would be. I would be, listen, bro. I can't express it, bro. I literally can't, The manager met with the nursing home director of nursing services and scheduled training to re-educate the facility nurses, the email shows. Met with nursing home director to re-educate as a result of this? So not only did they get mad at them for responding to a patient who was unresponsive and drooling and with a slant to the side, they were so mad at them that they scolded them, but they also scheduled them for re-education training. That's insane. UnitedHealth notes that unnecessary hospitalization could expose patients to pressure injuries, falls, and other complications. Yeah, my bad, bro. Yes, the person who is drooling and unresponsive with the slant to the side is really going to be incredibly concerned about them falling in the transportation of them to the hospital. Yes, that is their primary concern. In response to questions from The Guardian, UnitedHealth pointed to one 2019 study which heralded the program's success in reducing hospitalizations and noted the potential harms of hospital care. But in an interview with The Guardian, Ahrelevant, the former UnitedHealth nurse practitioner turned whistleblower, argued such analysis failed to account for the negative health outcomes that patients suffer from missing hospital care. Yeah, right. Like, this is the idea. Like, just having the barometer be how many of them make it into the hospital can appear good, right? But that doesn't mean that it's necessarily good, right? Because in an ideal world, they would never go to the hospital, right? They would sit inside of the nursing home and stuff like that. You know, they would have incredible care, a perfect cyberpunk 2020. Well, not cyberpunk, but you know, it's like futuristic level care where they never have to worry about an emergency. So it looks good when there's not as many hospitalizations, but that's not the world we live in, right? The reason why they're inside of these nursing homes is because they're very likely to experience a disastrous health event that would reasonably put them into the hospital, right? So the purpose of them being in this facility is that there is a very real chance that they're going to have to go to the hospital. So this is an inappropriate barometer to check for the effectiveness of their care. How many of the people were further harmed because they never received the care they needed, he said. When you just look at the percentage reductions in hospitalizations, it doesn't say anything about patient outcomes. Absolutely. A plan of care in a lying patient. Kevin Keep Newer knew. Jesus, what is that? Kevin Keep never knew. Fuck. Kevin Keep never knew until The Guardian called him last month and told him that his father had suffered a possible stroke at a nursing home that partnered with UnitedHealth. Didn't know? Was he like on a contact list? On the evening of the 23rd of February of 2019, a UnitedHealth remote employee received a report about Keep's father, Donald Keep, a retired auto mechanic with dementia and an amputated leg living at a nursing home in Bremerton, Washington. Bro, my mom is in Washington, man. All of these stories are out of Washington. My mom's in Washington, bro. Dude, I'm no shot, dude. Oh, fucking shot, dude. I need to call my mom, man. Fuck me. I don't think she's on this fucking quack ass UnitedHealth shit, though. On that day, Keep was experiencing forgetfulness and drooping on the right side of his face, possible stroke symptoms, according to a confidential UnitedHealth incident log. But instead of sending the octogenarian straight to the hospital, the remote employee referred to a plan of care that's called for blood work and giving Keep an aspirin, and of course of action, which one former UnitedHealth doctor said doesn't make sense given the risk of brain damage. That's not useful when it might be a stroke, said the doctor, who spoke on the condition of anonymity to comment on Keep's confidential patient records that he reviewed at the request of The Guardian. What they really need is a physical exam and an MRI of the brain, and it needs to be done expeditiously. The incident log, which doesn't mention a hospital transfer, suggests that the UnitedHealth team didn't treat the case with the urgency that a possible stroke would require. Sounds like this is limited to Medicare health insurance patients who are old only. Yeah. Well, when the stock is down, the company is burning. That's a good thing. Nothing hurts these assholes more than the next will be the indictment. I don't trust the Trump administration to indict any of these people. In fact, I would say I trust them not to. I would trust in its trust being a very, shit term to use here, but I would expect the Trump administration just fully to not press charges on these people. To be honest, I don't fully trust anyone to really press charges against these people. This is like, these businesses are very, very large and very, very influential, and pretty elusive when it comes to holding them accountable. Like, not very many people care to, nor actually succeed at it. Keep's symptoms were logged shortly before 10 p.m. on a Saturday night. The next afternoon, a UnitedHealth employee emailed the company's nurse practitioners a follow-up note to look into what was wrong with Keep. The email listed the proposed workups as being for a TIA, the transient, less serious neurological condition, not a stroke. As of 4 p.m. on that Sunday, more than 18 hours after Keep was found with his face drooping, the workup was still listed as pending. Citing patient confidentiality, UnitedHealth did not respond to an inquiry about whether the retiree was ever sent to the hospital. So this is saying that for something that could have been a stroke, but was listed as a TIA, UnitedHealth didn't get back to them for, at minimum, more than 18 hours. Which, obviously, if it was a stroke, you could be cooked. You're totally fried after that period of time. And that was a hell of an article. That was a very long read. I don't know how long that took, but that was a very long read. But it was an informative read. Informative read. Man, I can't believe I was thinking about not reading them. Trump administration formally accepts gift. Oh, they did?